1890. Same thing, going through the same process, hiring lawyers and so forth. Again, his pension is denied. Rejected. He applied one more time in 1893. And again, he's rejected. So he did not receive his pension, even though he was in the Civil War. So, and he died December 1894 at the age of 64. And this is available, anybody want to see it at the end of the session. I'm going to pass it around right now. Okay, so much for the 36th Regiment. One of the most famous battles in the Civil War was the a battle that occurred at Fort Wagner in South Carolina. And this battle was made famous by the movie Glory. A lot of people have a picture of the famous battle at Fort Wagner. A lot of people know about the movie Glory, starring Denzel Washington. What many people don't know that at least 120 people, soldiers right here from Plymouth and Windsor, was in this war. And 1863 was a turning point. That's when they began the aggressive recruitment of black soldiers. And once the black soldiers ended the war started turning around. Even though they didn't win this battle, they destroyed all stereotypes and myths about black men not having courage enough or not to want to fight and so forth. And this is when a lot of major battles were now occurring that black soldiers were participating in, like Milligan Bend, Mississippi, Port Hudson, Louisiana. So these battles began to turn the tide. I'm going to say a few words about the 4 regiments that were raised in North Carolina. The first regiment raised in North Carolina was called the 1st North Carolina Colored Volunteers. They were raised in 1863. Brigadier General, as I said, he was the leadership. And he organized, his purpose, he came to New Bern in 1863, his purpose was to raise what was known as the African Brigade. He wanted to try to raise 4 regiments. And during the first summer, he was successful. He raised a regiment called the 1st North Carolina Colored Volunteers, and then a regiment came in from Massachusetts called the 55th Regiment. Now, the soldiers from North Carolina, they were mainly escaped slaves, whereas the soldiers from Massachusetts, they were like free from many states. So he got his regiment right away, and their name eventually changed to the 35th Regiment. And for this regiment, he appointed James Beecher Colonel from the famous Beecher family. Some of you I know heard of Harry Beecher Stowe, wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. He was related to her. And what was rare about what he did was he appointed 3 black officers, and that was rare and revolutionary at the time. He appointed Lieutenant Colonel William Reed, Lieutenant Colonel. He appointed a black doctor named John DeGrasse as major, and he appointed a chaplain named John Miles. That was rare at that time. And the 35th Regiment went on to fight in battles in South Carolina, Florida, Maine. That's the 35th Regiment. That was when the Brigadier Everyday Wild got in North Carolina, he was met there by John William Henry Singleton, escaped slave from New Bern, who wrote his own book in the 1920s called Recollection of Slavery Days. He was an escaped slave. He served in both armies, the Confederacy first and then the Union Army. And when he got there, he presented Everyday Wild with 1,000 men that he helped recruit himself. So even though he was an escaped slave, he had already raised his own militia and presented over to Everyday Wild, which was called the 1st North Carolina Colored Volunteers, which eventually became known as the 35th. Also, you see one of the Parker Robins, one of the highest officers in Berkeley County, representing this picture right here. So we had the 1st North Carolina Colored Volunteers, the 2nd, which I mentioned, and the 3rd, which became known as the 37th Regiment. Now, there's 2 things about the 37th Regiment. First, they had a story of tragedy. It was right here in Plymouth in 1864. Plymouth was recaptured by the Confederate Army. And they took black and white prisoners. And some of the prisoners, soldiers were killed, and a lot of the black soldiers were killed after they surrendered. They were massacred right here in Plymouth. But they got their triumph in 1865 when they were able to help defeat the last seaport in Northern, which was Wilmington. And they participated in this battle. And once they participated in this battle, and when Wilmington fell, the Confederacy was pretty much over. So 37 got their triumph anyway. And the last regiment was the heavy artillery. They were called the first infantry. Their name was changed to 14th. So those were the, and the artillery is a little different. They fought like mainly Kingston and Newburgh, protecting the forts. So we're going to summarize this briefly in the next 5 minutes. Why I call this Forgotten Legacy, because the most famous regiment, the regiment raised in South Carolina, Kansas, and New Orleans, even before they were officially recognized. They didn't wait to be recognized by the guy. They were fighting out there anyway. It was mainly escaped slaves from South Carolina and free people from Louisiana. They had their own army. There were over 200,000 of these soldiers, and they were organized in over 160 regiments. And they had infantry, cavalry, artillery, and engineers. Okay. And like I said, the most famous regiment was the 54th Regiment. Most people know about the 54th Regiment. That's the regiment out of Massachusetts. There's a statue in Massachusetts recognizing these soldiers. And of course, most of these soldiers were commanded by white officers, and a lot of presidents, but there were some great white officers. They were devoted to their soldiers. And I'll mention just a few. There was Thomas Higginson of South Carolina. I already mentioned that with a while. There was Butler. A few soldiers like that. Officers were very dedicated to their black soldiers. They met great presidents, of course. They were treated terribly. Black soldiers were treated terribly. They were killed sometimes, not paid the same salaries, returned to slavery, all that was going on. And they fought in some major battles. And finally, in 1998, they were finally recognized in Washington, D.C. They had a sculpture there, and they had what they call a wall of honor of all the soldiers participating. And on that wall of honor, you'll see my great-grandfather's name, William Reed. Black soldiers won about 40 medals. The most famous officers were, highest officers, about 100 officers. The most famous was Alexander Augustus. And then we had Martin Delany and Pinchback, who became the first governor of Louisiana. So the most famous soldiers were William Cotney. He was the first black man to win the Medal of Honor. And you had George Washington Williams and the most famous soldiers. And lastly, there were about 30,000 sailors, and they won about 8 Medals of Honor. And one out of every 4 sailors in the Union Navy was black. And 2 of the most famous sailors in the Navy was Robert Smalls. He hijacked the Confederate ship and turned over to the Union Army. And lastly, there was Lewis Latimer. He was the inventor of the lifeboat. And that's pretty much my presentation. Thank you very much.